Today, we're going to be looking at the distribution of power in governments today. So, this is Unit 1, Notes number 2. In the book, it is Chapter 1, Lesson 2.3. And so, in the book, you can find it on pages 32 and 33. So, it's a very short section today. So, we are still comparing forms of government and looking at how should political and economic power be distributed in a society. The objective today is to compare and contrast constitutional democracies with authoritarian regimes, presidential and parliamentary governments, and federal, confederal, and unitary systems of government. So, the distribution of power in governments today. In almost all nation states, government power is exercised at a minimum of two levels, national and regional. So, in the United States, you can think of our national government as Washington, D.C. We have the president, we have Congress, we have the judicial branch. Those three branches make up our national government. But we also have regional governments, which are our states. So, like in California, we have a capital, Sacramento, we have a governor. And so the same is true for other countries. If they have a national government, they may not call their regional government states, they may call them provinces, lands, different regions, but ultimately that's kind of how things are organized. However, how much power each of them have is different. So that will bring us to our three systems we're going to look at today: unitary, federal, and confederal. So in a unitary system of government, the Constitution concentrates power in the national or central government. The national government may choose to create regional governments to carry out its policies. However, regional governments exercise only those powers given to them by the national government. And so most nation states have unitary systems. So basically, the national government is the one that's in charge. They may or may not have regional governments, and it's only if the national government delegated stuff to them. Like maybe they say, you collect taxes, you can decide how schools are organized, but they can only do those things with permission from the national government. So next is a federal system of government, where the Constitution divides power between the national government and the regional governments. And this is what we have in the United States. And so, what that means is in the Constitution, there are specific things that the national government does, and there are also specific powers delegated to the states. So, from the Constitution, if a power is designated to the state, then the national government cannot take it away. So, essentially, it's like they are sharing power. But it's not necessarily shared equally. It's not like divided 50-50, but there are specific things the state can do and specific things that the national government can do. So a federal system of government is most likely to be adopted in large countries with diverse populations. The first American Constitution, the Articles of Confederation, created a confederal system of government. So in today's world, no country has adopted a confederal system of power. And so in such a system, power resides in the regions, which are independent states. So it designates power directly, basically, like if you're thinking about Articles of Confederation, to the states. The states have the power. And then the states can determine if they want to give it to the national government. It's almost a reverse of the unitary system. So the regions grant only as much power to the national government as needed to maintain security and to coordinate activities among these regions. So like I said, this type of organization of government does not exist in countries today, probably because as with the Articles of Confederation, things didn't work out. So it's sometimes you don't want to have your national government be too strong, but you also don't want it to be too weak. It needs to be able to have functions and have power to protect security, to basically just like run a country, which is why we changed from the Articles of Confederation to our new current Constitution. So no nation state is organized as a confederation today. However, some supranational, I think I said that right, organizations such as the European Union are modeled in a confederal system. So with the EU, you have different countries that are all working together as one. And so they have the power. But again, they're also independent. They're just voting on certain specifics. So let's look at this. I think this visual is in your textbook, kind of gives you a good idea. You know what I didn't put on here? I cut it off when I copied and pasted it. Is the blue is the unitary system. Um, and so you see the Constitution gives all the power to the central government. And then the central government can decide what the regional governments get, what the citizens get, and the regional government decide like what the citizens are allowed to do. Okay. In a federal system, the yellow is federal. The Constitution divides power to regional governments, the states, and the central government, the national government. So again, it doesn't have to be equal, but there are specific powers that come directly from the Constitution to the states and also to the national government. And then they designate rights and powers to the citizens. And the last one, green, is the confederal system. And so you have the Constitution gives power to the regional government. So that's to the states. And then the states decide what power goes on to the central government or national government. And then the regional governments can give powers, rights to the citizens. Okay, so that's the end of our notes today. You'll be able to kind of use these. I'll fix this for your PDF so you can use it for your activity today.